Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jared here with another movie review. This one is for Jackass 3D from 2010. So, real quick before I dive in, I just kind of wanted to preface this by saying why I'm doing this random movie review. So, Jackass Best and Last came out about a month and a half ago. Went and saw that in theaters, reviewed it with my mom. And ever since then, I've just been really back in the Jackass realm, in the Jackass universe, watching the new Jackass podcast with Johnny Knoxville and Jeff Tremaine, watching some Steve-O videos where he's been looking back on the old movies and reacting to them. Plus just myself. I mean, I've gone back, and even before seeing Jackass Best and Last, I went and watched the original Jackass movie. And Paramount did a marathon of Jackass for like 24 hours a few days ago, and I watched a lot of Jackass number 2, my favorite Jackass. So, with all this being said, I kind of just wanted to go back and watch Jackass 3D because I haven't seen a ton from that movie as of late, except for the stuff that was really in the Jackass Best and Last movie in and of itself. But yeah, this movie, man, I was, let's see when the exact date was that it came out. So it came out on October 15th, 2010. So I would have been 13 years old when this came out. And I specifically remember going to the movie theaters with my dad and seeing it. And I remember it was a packed theater, and it was a great view, a great overall watch from start to finish. And I truly have always thought that this was the last great Jackass movie. A few months after this, I believe it was June 2011 is when Ryan Dunn unfortunately passed away. And Jackass just was never the same after that. But I went ahead and got Paramount Plus up on the TV and threw this movie on, watched it with my mom. It's always interesting to watch Jackass movies with my mom, of course. Not typical to watch this type of movie with your parents, I guess. But either way, I just kind of wanted to give you my thoughts. What is this? 16 years later. So, man, I just wanted to say I wasn't 100% sure if the Beavis and Butthead little promo was going to be in the beginning of this watch on Paramount Plus. I remember it being in the theaters, but they went ahead and included it still, so it is like definitely a part of the movie. It's not kind of like a movie theater exclusive kind of thing. But yeah, Beavis and Butthead kind of open up the movie, and this was right around the time that they were about to do their reboot. And I remember that reboot was good, but very mixed reviews, I think, from other people. But this was kind of just referencing that. Beavis and Butthead kind of get you started there. And then they do the opening sequence with the Jackass guys and have Twisted Sister. The kids are back on in the background. And man, what a badass song and like badass opening sequence for this movie. Just really, really cool and really just gets you going. Just really kick-ass rock and roll and, lots of stunts and gags in that opening sequence. But, man, overall, with this movie, I still think this movie's great. And I have pretty much nothing but positive things to say about it from start to finish. I think it's very consistently interesting, very consistently entertaining, and very consistently funny. Now, don't get me wrong. Was I dying laughing at every single thing in this movie? Definitely not. But I definitely was snickering at some of the things. You have to also remember that, like, this stuff is not brand new to me, so it's not going to be naturally as funny as the first time. But I still think it holds up well. And, man, definitely some really, really classic bits in this one. I think about, obviously, the ending bit with Steve-O in the porta potty being launched in the air, and the dog poop going all over the place, and then them puking afterward. Very iconic bit for them. And, man, the one scene where they had Preston on the exercise machine and they were just like getting him to sweat and then taking all the sweat and putting it in a cup and then Steve-O drinking it. Absolutely disgusting. That scene had my mom actually coughing, which was very, very interesting. But man, I mean, of course, you have the Bulls with Johnny Knoxville, very iconic with the scene where he's dressed up like a rainbow and they have the rainbow background and he kind of just blends in with it, but he gets hit by the bull and then his foot actually scrapes the top of the wall there, top of the background. Very iconic, but man, just there's a bunch of good ones in this for sure. I mean, heck, even the very first like actual scene once the movie kicks in of the high five, that's also super memorable. They got multiple cast members with that. And I just think like overall when it came to like a lot of these stunts back then when I would watch Jackass or Viva La Bam, things of that nature, I would always think as a kid or as a teenager, like everything was so 100% real and nothing was exaggerated and it was just all authentic. As an adult, I'm a lot, I'm a lot less gullible, I guess you could say. But I still think like with these old movies, like they are very, very, for the most part, authentic. And, there are real injuries and real stunts that are being done here. And they are genuinely getting hurt. Do I think that they might exaggerate it with their screams and their reactions? Of course. But, it doesn't really detract from the movie for me. I think it's still funny and entertaining. And their deliveries are really good back then. So anyway, one thing I liked about this movie to compare it to, the newer movies like 4 and 5, mainly 5, I would say, it's so awesome just to have the CKY guys in there, like Bam, like Ryan Dunn. Heck, they even had Rake Yan in there. And there were multiple scenes with Phil Margera and April Margera. And man, they are just so important to these Jackass movies, in my opinion. 4 and 5 just aren't the same without them. They don't compare. And man, those are some of the best bits in the movie. The stuff that Bam did, the stuff that Dunn did, and the stuff they did with April and Phil. I mean, like the one scene where they dressed up Pontius like a gorilla and then were freaking April and Phil out with that. Also the scene where they had the super glue and, we're getting Preston and Phil to put super glue on their hairy chest and stomachs, and then Bam was ripping the hair off, and then having Preston and Wee Man 69 together with the super glue. Yeah, very, very memorable moments for sure. I mean, I say they're memorable, but like it's one of those things that like I kind of did forget about some of these scenes over the years. But to go back and see them was definitely funny and entertaining. And just on the topic of Bam, man, I just couldn't help but think to myself how, I just think he looked very good in those years, 2009, 2010, around that time. And just what he looks like now and what he sounds like now, it's just sad, what happened over the next, decade and a half with him. But I'm glad that he is sober now. And once again, hope that he can really make amends with Jeff Tremaine and Johnny Knoxville and that they can, be friends again and maybe collaborate again at some point. But man, to see Bam back then in this movie, it was kind of the last time we saw like Bam look normal, look regular, sad to say, but it is true. So yeah, I mean, Steve-O, he was prominent in this movie. I think about the beehive tetherball, and that kind of leads me to my next thing. There's someone in this movie I kind of want to give a shout out to, Loomis Fall. Loomis is a guy that's like, he's present throughout some of the Jackass stuff for sure, but he never was that prominent. He didn't really do a lot of stunts, a lot of, bits with them. But I always thought when it came to Jackass 3, he was always a guy that I thought stepped up to the plate. And on this rewatch all these years later, I have to agree with myself on that one all these years later that he definitely did step up to the plate. And I don't know what really ever happened to him because I don't remember him being in 4 and 5, but he definitely stepped up to the plate. And I think about like the bit where they had the jet engine, and they were behind the jet engine and were just doing random stuff behind the jet engine. Loomis Fall definitely stepped up to the plate on this one. And I think about like the Electric Avenue bit where they were dressed up like prison inmates and were just like getting electrocuted with all these different gags. To this day, I still think of that bit when I hear Electric Avenue. So very, very, definitely resonated with me on that one. And one thing I wanted to mention that I don't think I really went into detail and went in depth enough with the last Jackass, Best in Last. One thing that has definitely resonated with me about that movie was how much Jeff Tremaine and Johnny Knoxville really wanted to, drive the point home that they were really like the directors and the producers, and they were like the real masterminds behind Jackass. And it just seems like they have really tried to separate themselves from an important standpoint from the other cast members. And like when it came down to like those first few Jackass movies, and even like the .5 ones when CKY was involved, as you can tell, I'm a big CKY fan. But I think back then, it just seemed like so much of more of a brotherhood, and everybody was equal, and there was so much joy, and there was so much camaraderie with these guys, and it was so just, I don't know, just genuine and authentic, and like these guys loved each other. And I just think as the years went on, the more, I don't know, rifts that there were between some of the cast members, and people were getting their feelings hurt. And man, just watching some of the content on this new Jackass podcast with Johnny and Jeff, it just seems like, man, it just kind of surprises me how little they knew about some of the cast members. But yeah, this was back in those days when it really just seemed genuine, and it didn't seem like Johnny and Jeff were trying to make it seem like they were the masterminds behind everything. But man, Chris Pontius, his penis was in there multiple times. There was a lot more penis in this movie than I remember. But I want to talk about Preston Lacey. I thought he also really stepped up to the plate on this one. Having the pro kicker Josh Brown kick the football, in his face. Also the apple one where he had the apple in his butt and had the huge ass fucking pig eat it out of his butt. That was crazy. Definitely lots of animal stunts, lots of jumping off ramps and stuff in this one. Aaron McGahee, he had one where he was, I don't know where they were, but they were like, they were somewhere where it was like snowing, but he took a really hard hit when he jumped off this ramp, and he had this like huge ass, I don't know if it was a fat suit or he was just wearing a lot of winter clothing, but man, he took a hard hit on that one. I also think about Johnny Knoxville's when he was dressed up as Santa Claus and he went to the top of this huge ass tree and the tree fell. That was gnarly there for sure. Ryan Dunn, he was very prevalent in this movie. Dave England with his pooping and the volcano, very prevalent. Lots of excuse my dog, Max. Lots of Phantom Cam in this movie with the, I think they talk about it in 3.5 a lot more, but lots of good bits with the Phantom Cam, like the dildo flying through different, places in the world or whatever, and just hitting various people on the cast. But also like the Rocky bit that they had going where Bam would like, toss water on the left side of someone's face, and then they would react to it, and then he would just punch them in the right side with a boxing glove, and seeing that with the Phantom camera, that was very interesting as well. Wee Man with his, I always love the bits where they do with Wee Man and Preston, especially the one where they had Preston walk in and had the guy, he walked into some store and like he had some guy outside, watch his dog for a second, and then Wee Man comes out. That one was absolutely hilarious. Love that one. But also, you can't forget about the bar brawl with all the little people and just the reactions from the various people throughout the bar. And, speaking of reactions from people, they definitely had numerous bits where they got reactions from various people. And Johnny Knoxville doing the bad grandpa stuff, that was entertaining. They definitely went a little further with that. This was a little bit before Bad Grandpa came out. So that was, of course, funny. And, his delivery and his improv skills when it came to those bits with Bad Grandpa were very, 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 very good. And I don't want it to make it seem like I hate Johnny or I hate Jeff or I hate the new movies or anything like that. I definitely love those guys, and I still, watched those movies and found entertainment in some aspects with those movies. It's just something that's been on my mind. As crazy as Bam has been over the last few years, and as the drugs and alcohol and the mental issues unfortunately have taken over, I definitely think Bam has most to do with the issues that have arose over the last few years. But I don't think Johnny and Jeff are completely in the right with every single thing they've said and done. So yeah. Brandon Novak was in this movie a lot more than I remembered. This is actually the highest grossing film in the Jackass series. Let's see how much that they spent on this. The budget was $20 million, and in the box office it made $171.7 million, which is crazy. Just overall, once again, I just really enjoyed it. Thought it could have been maybe a little bit shorter. They could have cut maybe some stuff out, but it still holds up, and it was a great movie, and you should definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. And once again, I just think it was the last great Jackass movie. So what did you all think? Did you all see it in the theaters? How do you think it holds up? Please give me your thoughts in the comments below. I'd greatly appreciate it. And that's pretty much all I got. So hope you all enjoyed. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.